Okay, welcome to episode 3 of the podcast. So we've got an upgrade today. I've officially bought some headphones and a microphone. I just got the cheap, like the good quality, cheapest option. So it's not like a cool like rectangle microphone, like a podcasting microphone. It just looks like, it looks like the kind of microphone you do SingStar with. It looks like the kind of microphone that like they would have at the like Geelong Football Club, like in the social club for like guest speakers to come and like speak on the podium. And then like your dad has like his 50th in like the social club. And then like as a souvenir, he just like takes the microphone. And then like every time there's a party at like your parents' house, your dad just like pulls out this microphone and like sings karaoke in it. And there's like a running joke in your family where they're talking about like how much like DNA and like saliva of like past Geelong football players is like in that microphone, and you could like clone them all if you wanted to. So yeah, it kind of looks like that type of microphone. I started having like a visual setup. Like I had a tripod of a camera recording me, and I recorded an episode with it, and I had to delete it. I think like it distracts me too much from what I'm doing. Like I feel like nothing pulls up your flow state more than being self-conscious. And for me, the camera is just like too self-conscious. And that's like a hard thing, because I'm realizing that like I feel like I have so much, I can already feel the pressure I put on myself to be successful as a podcaster. So like I really suffer from perfectionism. And so, you think that's like a good thing until you realize in psychology, it's actually called unrelenting standards. And that's like a podcast for another day, perfectionism. But basically, the standards that I put on myself are so high that they're impossible. And I live in this constant state of like discontentment and discomfort because I'm not like reaching these impossible goals. And so a lot of my self-love journey has been like, no, like you're enough as it is. But like I'm realizing that like every time I start something like a podcast or a business, these thoughts like come into my head of like, oh, these are like some really high reaching goals that you should achieve with what you're doing. And in a way that's good. But I think the big thing that I've had to learn is to like, it's just a game. And if like some of your goals come true, then like that's cool. But like you have to be happy where you are. I think that's the biggest thing I learned from New Clothing is you have to be happy where you are. And like anything that comes is a bonus to that. And that's kind of like what I'm learning even by episode 3 of doing this podcast is I feel like I'm probably going to talk a little bit most episodes about like what I'm learning podcasting, but like the thing that I've learned so much already is not to do the podcast for anyone but me. And it's funny because my best friend Raquel said like, you seem like you're just having fun with it, like, and I am. It's so different to New Clothing, which was like it mattered so much like if other people liked it, like how the audience received what I was doing, because my business depended on them liking it so that like I could make an income. And so this is so freeing to do a podcast where it's like, I don't care if this succeeds or not. Bitch, I'm going to do 20 episodes and be in the 1% of all-time greatest podcasts. I don't care. Like, it's just like, it's fun for me and it's a creative outlet. And the funny thing about New Clothing is that I convinced myself that like, just the way I used to look at the world was like, once I do this and just like, work my ass off, make $1 million, then I can relax. Then I can start doing all the things that I want to do in life. That's when I can start reading. That's when I can start prioritizing my health. That's when I can start doing my art. That's when I can start doing a podcast. And what I realized is that like one day will never come, and that you've got to find a way to intertwine these things that really make you content and happy, like reading and your health and doing art, into your everyday life, because life isn't something that happens one day when you retire. This is it. Like it's happening now. That's something that, yeah, it's been a big lesson for me anyway. Learn to be happy where you're at. And so me doing this podcast, it's really between me and me. And what I want it to really be, I've realized, is I love reading books a lot, and I'm going to call this my research because it makes me sound cool, like I'm a professor. But, I feel like my research or my area that I really love, I'm really passionate about, I love psychology intersects with philosophy, intersects with spirituality. That intersection I love, and that's like the books I love to read. And in spirituality specifically, I love where spirituality, if it was like a Venn diagram with science, I love like that middle point. And there are like a lot of connections there. And so what I want my podcast to be is, I want it to be almost a catalogue of all of the ideas that I'm entertaining. Like I think my writing, for people who've read some of my blogs and stuff, will see that I love to draw upon other people. Like I love to be like, in this book it says this, and this person like said this quote. Even my last podcast, how I like intersect so many quotes. I love to like kind of research one topic from different angles and perspectives, and like quote different people in the way that they saw it in their perspective, and like kind of pull it all together and then put in my personal experience, and then like finish with my personal opinion, which over time will probably change. But, you know, so what I want to do is pick different topics. So like, you know, one day it might be like, how I stop caring what people think of me, or synchronicities, or logotherapy, or just like any of these different like ideas that I'm entertaining. I'm always entertaining several at once and reading several books about different things. So yeah, this is like, I wanted to read something actually. It's from The Creative Act, A Way of Being. It's a book by Rick Rubin, and it's a really great book about how to be creative. And this is what he writes. Imagine going to live on a mountaintop by yourself forever. You build a home that no one will ever visit. Still, you invest the time and effort to shape the space in which you'll spend your days. The wood, the plates, the pillows, all magnificent, curated to your taste. This is the essence of great art. We make it for no other purpose than creating our version of the beautiful, bringing all of ourselves to every project, whatever its parameters and constraints. Consider it an offering, a devotional act. I think there's some wisdom to that, because I think for art for me is like, I have a quote that creativity is just bringing something back from the source. And a lot of people talk about this. It's something when you're in communication with the divinity, for lack of a better word. And that really a lot of artists feel like they're just a channel for that. And I think this is such a pure way to keep my art. If I do these podcasts and I say, one, it's me offering it up to the divinity, to source, to spirit, to the universe, to God. You know, I like the way Aubrey Marcus tries to reclaim that word. And I offer it up for myself. I'm doing this for me. And there's no pressure. There's no pressure to succeed financially or anything. It's just fun. I'm at a stage in my life where it's like, I'm happy to fail publicly, because I get so much joy and fulfillment and purpose from just learning and just being creative, that I don't care like what other people think. I really don't. So, you know, for me, this is it. And there's another quote from the book. He says, if we second guess our inner knowing to attempt to predict what others may like, our best work will never appear. And so, you know, already my perfectionism is saying, but if I'm not like recording what I'm doing and filming it, then like I'm never going to be able to post that on TikTok, and I'm never going to be able to grow, and I'm never going to be able to live off my art. And fear. You know, I'm so glad I'm at a point where I can recognize fear and the way that it hinders me, because what that fear is doing is pulling me off path. And if I was still listening to it, I would be filming myself, and I would be too self-conscious to purely be in the act of making these podcasts for no one but me. You know, I don't care if people listen to these or not, even though it's funny, because I feel like doing it this way is actually probably what's going to give me the greatest chance of success. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with this. If you're hanging around, thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you like get something out of this and really feel what I'm doing here. And if you feel like you resonate with it, I want to, honestly, the thing I want the most to come from this podcast is I want to find my tribe. I want to find the people out there who are like me. I feel like my art, even my Instagram, is just like a beacon of like my light, trying to find the other people out there who are like me. And it already kind of started happening with New Clothing. I was really surprised that a community kind of started forming around it. And it's so interesting the people who did and who gravitated towards my art and how we are similar. And so, it kind of gave me a bit of hope in the world that I'm not so alone, I suppose, which is something that I have struggled with, social isolation. And so, if you feel like you're resonating with this at any stage, then come on board. I'm trying to find a way that we can make the community more communicative and meet each other instead of me just being the center, knowing everyone who's a part of it. Also, drop some questions on our website, www.planetmu.com.au, if you want a question answered, or something, or even have a topic that you would like my perspective on or me to talk about in a podcast. Otherwise, thanks. How's this?